The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subaru Productions.
Hello!
You caught me off guard with that one.
I really did. That's the whole point of it. Yay! Hello, welcome back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tokucast. Marcus and Jacob here with a new episode of How We Would Fix, in this episode, Power Rangers Samurai. The subject for today.
Samurai in general.
We got a lot to talk about, but before we begin, I would like to give a shout out to the YouTube channel Ranger Review. He also has a video similar to this one. He has a whole series of how he would fix his own opinions on Power Ranger series that he would change up. So go and give him a look. Go and give his Samurai video a look. It's pretty good. So go check it out. And beginning with our list.
Yeah, there's another guy who's out here doing some Ranger stuff right now. Lost in Tokusatsu. A lot of people probably already know about him by now. I've linked him multiple times on our Discord. And I really like his series. I really like, he was originally an editor for, I think TokuNet? I think so. One of those. And I really like the way that he's doing things. So if you haven't checked him out, I suggest going to do it. He does a lot more editing than I will probably ever do. Or maybe not. I don't know. He has more time to edit than I probably do.
More time to edit. Marcus's editing goals are somewhere around the levels of
not.
I would say.
I try. That's the point.
Still proud of you for that Slender Man one.
Things will change in the future. Hopefully we can hire an editor and I want to do this. But
we shall see.
Yeah, how we would fix Power Rangers Samurai.
Number one, don't put the Sentai through Google Translate.
You literally did this.
Shout out to our fan, Macha Wukao, who on the In Comparison said, Power Ranger Samurai, in a nutshell, it's Shinkenger dubbed by 4Kids. Because 4Kids hates Japanese traditions.
And
that's pretty much what Samurai was.
We're so happy that they went out of business. That's like the best thing that ever happened.
The best thing that happened to 4Kids was they died.
Went out of business.
They died.
Terrible. Fucking Yu-Gi-Oh!
They did give us Pokemon and all this other stuff, but they also
gave us trash.
Jelly donuts are my favorite.
Yeah. Pointing is killing.
Good gosh.
Yeah, don't put the Sentai through Google Translate. That's the main thing of how we fix this show. It's like, all right, we need the show to have its own plot. But at the same time, I feel like the easiest way to fix Samurai is just to not adapt Shinkenger. That would probably end up being the number one thing they shouldn't have done, but Bandai went ahead and did the toys anyways. That they sort of got screwed on this. But this show is so Japanese in its execution. I'm just like, you could have done better by not adapting it. This also ties into the next point, though.
Yes. Speaking of being so Japanese, have an all-Asian cast.
I feel like this would...
My name is Jaden Shiba. You are the whitest person I've ever met.
My walls are beige. You're lighter than that. I'm just like, all right, look. I'm not saying have an all Asian, like extremely Asian cast, but at least make the Red Ranger Asian. One, that would end up having our first one to do that. Some things could definitely be better if we had like, all right, this guy is believable as a member of the Shiba clan, who is a samurai clan.
Because he's Japanese.
Yeah, like everybody else, bloodlines split off, various places, people get married, people have children.
Especially if you're setting it in a different country.
Yeah.
That makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least have the Red Ranger be Asian. But I wouldn't have minded if the show had an all Asian cast.
Yeah,
I think it could have worked.
Some things definitely need to be changed in terms of, all right, we have these people. I feel like the white guy should not have been the Red Ranger in a show about samurai.
Yeah.
Not being anywhere near racist, but I'm just like, look, there's a level of plausible deniability that we can't apply to this. I feel like if anybody was going to keep to tradition, the Asian cast.
Indeed. I'll let you take number 3.
Let Decker be evil and not have a tragic backstory tied into Dayu. Now, we say don't copy the Sentai footage, or just the Sentai in general, but I feel like some things should have not happened. Him being tied to Dayu just sort of trivializes their characters, and it makes Decker way too sympathetic.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing wrong with having a sympathetic villain, but
yeah,
in this case, it didn't work.
He was always out there looking for the fight, and I'm sitting here like, you made Dayu. They merged the stories. Dayu had the whole thing where her husband was killed. Well, she killed him, but
she destroyed him.
She did. But yeah, she got rid of him. She killed him. She got turned into. I had their name earlier. What is their name? Not the Nylocks. Godoshu. She was turned into a Godoshu basically just because of that. And I'm sitting here like, all right, that's how we do this. I feel like you could have made Dayu more sympathetic, but I feel like somewhere in Juzo/Decker's perspective, they could have just been evil for the sake of being evil. Juzo was an ass. He was a terrible person. That sword is your wife. You've been using her to cut down people. You shouldn't do that because her soul is trapped. He said, I know, don't care, kill you anyway. And I was here like, all right, I get this character. He's just evil. He's out there looking for a good fight, but at the end of the day, he's still a bad person. For Decker's case, I'm sitting here like, something about him being a little bit too sympathetic actually takes away from his story. It doesn't make him have enough of an impact. Being so tied to Dayu and having him be the ex-husband and her human actress be even more awful than her voice actress. Yeah. I feel like that definitely could have been fixed. Some things definitely could have been done better. Number 3.
Next. Well, 4.
4. I don't count.
3, 4, sir. Don't make characters archetypes, and what we mean by this is give your characters actual personalities, not just here is a singular trait, build that around them. Tommy's ponytail could out-charisma the entire cast of Power Rangers Samurai.
That can be whipped back and forth.
It could be whipped back and forth.
The entire cast of Samurai, except for Lauren, could just be whipped out the door.
They could be whipped out the door and then give me whiplash.
Yeah.
The Pink Ranger, her
personality is bad.
She's bad at cooking, but that's literally it. That's all she gets.
Yeah.
She's bad at cooking. Nothing else.
What was it? Emily? Yellow was Emily?
Yes.
Emily's whole thing wasn't given enough. For Kotaha, you had the whole thing with their sister. That could have been fine to bring over to Emily because they mention it, but they don't go anywhere with it.
No, they don't.
They're just like, my sister was supposed to become a Yellow Ranger. I have no strong feelings about this either way.
Moving on, I guess.
It's just like, this could have been done better. Especially in like Mike's case, Ryunosuke and Kevin, that was basically their whole thing.
Where it's like blind loyalty.
Yeah.
I'm here to fight by your side.
Which is fine, but Kevin doesn't have the acting skills to really bring it off. But he tried, and that's what matters. Number 5.
Use this show as a way to educate kids about Japanese culture and traditions and whatnot.
Basically, be the anti-4Kids.
Be the anti-4Kids. If at the end of each episode you had a character introduce an aspect of Japanese culture that maybe you saw in that episode or that is relevant to the plot in some way, that would be kind of cool. Like, say, like, here's how they made katanas back then. Here's how they made swords back then.
Here's why the calligraphy is what it is on the helmets.
Yes. Here's what these symbols mean. Here's the code of Bushido. Here's blah, 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 blah. Do things like that. It's okay to educate people.
Yeah. It's just like you tried to keep it...
Especially if you do it while having fun.
You tried to keep it so American that you fail on execution. So I'm just like, you shouldn't have done this season in the first place. That would have helped. But once again, Bandai. And now we're not with Bandai anymore. So that's the best thing.
Nope. Now we're with Hasbro.
Number 6.
I'll let you take this one.
Don't speak down to children with the writing. I don't know about you, but I hate being spoken down to more than anything else. I don't like being belittled. That's what it felt like they were doing with this, the way that people spoke in this show. It felt stilted. It felt like here's a moral of the week. Be hit over the head with it. That was worse than in Ninja Steel's that Super Ninja Steel, and it was also worse than Megaforce. But with something like this, at least in this show, it felt like they were speaking to 2-year-olds, which I guess is sort of the demographic, but at the same time,
2-year-olds wouldn't understand this.
Yeah, it's just like it doesn't work. Like, just have a little bit of stakes. Like, yeah, there was sort of there, but they also had Shogun mode, so we know where that was going. It's just, don't forget that you're really at the end of this day. The morals can be there, but you have to just be like, these are the things that you should more strive towards.
Weave them naturally into the story.
Yes. Don't make it so moral.
Don't have the actor stare into the camera and go, by the way, what he did was a bad thing.
Basically, don't be G.I. Joe from the 80s.
Yeah, but at least they kept those separate.
They did. Be Captain Planet. He's a hero.
Gonna take pollution down to 0.
Like, that's actually a good point, though. Captain Planet made a whole episode more about it, but it didn't feel like they were beating you over the head with it until they had that little section at the very end. In some cases. Remember the whole drugs episode?
I remember the AIDS episode.
Remember the AIDS episode?
That was a shame.
Ooh. They were. Ooh.
That was thick, kids.
Yeah. But they also gave you the negative.
And for anyone watching this going, who's Captain Planet?
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle?
But no,
was that college humor? The college humor?
But at the end of the day, it's like, you could have the moral done, but you also had to do, like, show the negative aspect of it. They did this in that drug episode, by the way. Well, Leela's cousin, because they were just like, all right, we had these people who are doing these drugs, like, getting them out into the community. So the whole point of the episode was like, all right, we're going to get this out. But at the end of the day, Leela's cousin overdosed and died. And I'm saying,
that
like,
happened.
Don't be afraid, just based off of this, don't speak down to children. Just like, don't be afraid to show the negative repercussions of the things that can happen.
So the long story short, if you do a Power Rangers episode about someone getting AIDS, make sure you show the negative effects of getting AIDS.
Basically, show a gravestone.
Yeah, just open with that.
But don't forget the positive
And the Rangers
side.
are standing over it. Oh no.
We got into a subject matter here. But yeah, just don't be afraid to just be like, all right, look, here's the world. Here's how it is. Here's what we could possibly do to fix it in terms of the actual story. And
if you show a character doing something bad, have a ranger like call out what that is.
Like, they had the whole sort of bullying thing in Samurai a couple times.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, that is not the only thing that kids are
It's a very important issue, make no mistake.
Yeah.
But there are other ones you could focus on.
Yeah, just if you're going to speak to children, speak to them as if you were actually speaking to them, not like you're looking down your nose at them.
Yes.
Like, there are ways to bring the lesson or the story to children with just like, with actual words.
Yeah. Next one. Cast people who can act. We cast actors
This will be such a major thing for next
who are
season.
trained in the craft of acting.
And not trained in the craft of packaging material. This is whenever we're gonna do the Megaforce episode of this. Ooh, buddy. But yeah, Jaden especially was wooden. He was wooden as the training sword he was practicing with. Just make sure and this is something that they had, that was the problem with the casting calls that we've seen for this. They put on the casting calls, if you can do martial arts, try out. No acting experience required.
Is that a real thing?
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Wow.
That's a problem.
That explains so many things.
You need to have a little bit, and I think they changed it, although I think they did it for Beast Morph as well, but this time we actually got actors.
Just acting experience, a must.
Yeah, it's just like you have to have something so you can actually bring something to the table. Samurai had such a problem with this. Every single character, except for Lauren, was like talking to cardboard. It's like there was not a lot of...
The way they emote is off. The way they stand, the way they look. It always looks like they're posing for a picture. And instead of emoting to somebody.
And their inflections are terrible. I remember like the whole scene where...
We bring up that line all the time. I'm here to fight by your side.
It's a thing.
People don't talk that way.
Oh, that's a good one. Remember how people talk. That's the main thing. I remember when Antonio got his morpher chick taken away, his inflections were all over the place. That's the really big problem in Samurai. Is just like, look, let's tone it down, but also tone the emotion up. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just like, if you're going to have something like this, get some actual act. That's one of the main things that would change the Samurai and probably just fix it all.
Yeah. I remember
get some actors.
Because when they meet for the first time, when the Green Ranger is like, wow, I guess you guys must be my peeps. He's saying those words like he doesn't know what they mean.
Yeah. The biggest change in Samurai would just be
This is clearly dialogue that's been written by a 40-year-old who doesn't know what teenagers sound like. and it's being spoken by somebody who can't act.
It's problematic. And I don't like problematic in terms of acting. It's just like, yeah, at that point, Power Rangers was not really written for us, but at the same time, you also can go back and
Rivera stopped being written for us about 20 years ago.
But at the same time, remember, Power Rangers used to be more of a family show. Now it's a kids show. And now it seems to be going back to a more family aspect. Time Force. It's just...
there were some exceptions, but I'd say for the most part, it was a kids show.
But at the same time, just like, you can have kid shows that are more family shows.
I mean, you could have kid shows with more mature themes and good acting.
Steven Universe,
Batman the Animated Series, Justice League the Animated Series.
Everybody loves Batman. Basically,
Gargoyles.
Except the third season. The third season was trash.
Never saw
that. Was the Goliath Chronicles.
Oh right. Yeah, that's right.
That was
where they like retconned a bunch of stuff,
and they were just like, "Hey, we're on this boat." Damn it, boat. But yeah, just make sure you get some people who can actually act and emote, and make sure, like for Samurai, just like, all right, let's take this person out and just replace them with cardboard, and you still get the same scene. You just put a voice box behind them, with a voice actor who will probably still give you more emotion.
Welcome to Power Rangers. May I take your order?
Now this one is more you.
Okay. Focus more on the sword fighting. You are samurai. Use this as a way to teach us about different techniques of sword fighting, different kinds of swords, different... do cool things with the swords. You're samurai. Focus less on the mechs.
In Shinkenger, they talked, at least especially when Shinken Go came in,
yeah,
they talked about EI, which is the, sheathing of the sword and having quick slashes that comes out of that. I'm so you're like, that's interesting. That's something that could have been brought up when he came in, but they didn't do that.
An episode from Shinkenger we wouldn't mind you taking.
Yeah. Like, there are multiple ways to just do things like this in the show. But Samurai just doesn't do it well enough.
Or at all. Like, if you give each of the Rangers a distinct fighting style and show the pros and cons of each and show how they can use them to defeat different monsters.
Like, they have their individual ones.
Yeah. If you got super technical with how... It doesn't... I mean, not like super technical, but like technical enough that you make it like almost kind of like a fight science in a way. I think that would be kind of interesting.
Like green has a spear, blue has the bow. Pig has a war fan. Unless you play Dynasty Warriors, not a lot of people know about that.
No, you don't.
And I'm saying, like, you could have had something huge just going off of that. Samurai definitely could have been. There are a lot of things that could make Samurai better. We're not done yet. But I'm just like, that could have been a great way to just.
But yeah, just focusing on the melee combat aspect, I think would have improved it.
Yeah.
It would have given us less time with those stupid mech suits.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about those because those are obvious.
Yeah.
And we talked about them in all the videos. Second to last one. Change the names of the mooks. Remember? They were Moogers.
Yeah.
And then the next season we had Loogies. So I'm just like, we don't know what
I keep wanting to call them boogers because can you blame me?
It's like we have, alright, so in Shinkenger, they were Gadoshu. You could have done something, maybe call them, I don't know, yokai or something like that. Although Yokai Watch might have that.
I don't know, because it's just
copyrighted.
I don't think so.
They don't. I'm just saying. But something like that, like, all right, we have this. Let's build off of that. Let's give them a much more threatening name because Moogers and Loogies.
Give them a name to match the appearance.
Yeah. Oh, God. What would be a good name? Let's try to come up with a name. Really
Oh boy.
What is the name of the artist who did Andy Warhol?
Yeah.
That's not Warhol.
What? Well, you didn't say the name of the art.
No, I'm trying to remember the name of the art who did like those really weird existential drawings.
Dolly?
No, because remember, these are basically just mouths with teeth. That's what their heads are.
All right. Francis Bacon?
No. I don't know. But you understand where we're coming from. Oh,
I mean, I'm kind of stuck on yokai. Yokai's not a bad name.
Yeah.
Just call them demons.
Demons would be a good one. I love Lucy.
Oh, yeah.
It's Desi.
So it is.
R.I.P. Yeah, I just don't know what to call them. I'm sorry, like somebody has an art style.
Leave a name in the comments if you want.
Yeah, like somebody has an art style where it's just like it's really surreal, and it's like their heads or mouths and things of that nature.
Yeah,
their hands or feet. Not SpongeBob. That happened this morning. We watched one episode of that. Anyway,
okay.
Yeah, it's just like you having that really surreal name, art style, but it's just like you could have something that comes off of that. Mouth breathers. I don't know. I'm fishballing, spitballing. Fishballing. I'm not here right now.
Oh,
send assistance.
Where are you?
Send assistance.
I don't know. I don't know where you are.
But yeah, it's just like you could have something weird like that. Have a weird name, but make it more threatening than Moogers. Moogers is a terrible name for anything.
Call them Ronin.
Don't do that.
Why not?
Because Rurouni Kenshin already exists. Also, Ronin actually have a connotation.
I know, but
it wouldn't work, Jacob. It wouldn't work. They didn't get paid for anything.
They also have a master, so I guess it wouldn't work. But it is a word.
Yeah, just change the name from Moogers to something more threatening. Do that. It might make them just a little bit more sustainable to be around instead of getting all those puns of people fighting Moogers.
Mm-hmm. I'll let you take the last one.
Actually, I want to add another one really quickly.
Okay.
Get rid of Bulk and Skull's son.
Yes.
I'm not talking about them having a son. I'm talking about get rid of Bulk and Skull's son.
Whatever his name was.
I forgot. Don't care enough to look it up.
They
didn't add anything to this story.
No, they added nothing.
Bulk and Skull had their story in
the original series.
Yeah. Until Leon Lost Galaxy, that was just more Bulk and Professor Phenomenus. But
yeah, that guy.
These two don't add anything.
Wonder what that old codger's up to now.
I think he's actually dead.
Okay. Anyway.
But yeah, just like these two don't add anything to the story. They're just there to be comedy relief. But this goes along with something that you said in the Hasbro video. Don't be afraid to make your main Rangers comedy relief in some cases. Remember,
if you're going to have comic relief, make it someone who is actually a part of the story.
Like Ziggy.
As opposed to, Ziggy is a good example. Bulk and Skull's kid are completely inconsequential.
Yeah.
They're there for nostalgia bait reasons, it seems, and absolutely nothing else because they don't add anything. And
but like you said,
they're also not funny.
Like you said in the Megaforce review, this show does not matter for nostalgia because this show is not going to grab people.
I was gonna say because if we're watching it, we're not going to get anything out of seeing them because we're like this adds nothing to the story. And if it's a kid watching it who isn't familiar with who Bulk or Skull is, they're not going to get anything out of this. Yeah, they don't know who that is.
So they're inconsequential. Write them out of the story, or just don't introduce them at all because they're not there for anything.
And again, we mentioned earlier, if you want to do an episode about bullying and use a bully character as a way to teach that message, that's fine. But to just bring Bulk back, who at this point has already changed, and Skull's kid, and just have them get into hijinks and be losers, what is that teaching?
What is the point of that?
What is the point? What is that teaching the kids?
Not to mention, Bulk basically took the place. He did Richard Brown from that one episode of Shinkenger with the Brown Ranger that we don't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
He's basically that throughout the entire show. He's not adding anything.
No.
And that's a lack of purpose, and we don't need that.
No. The show's already 22 minutes long. Don't take up any more. Don't pad it. You don't need to pad it.
No.
Goodness.
Now the last one.
Actually make the villains threatening, not just give them headaches. Aspirin exists.
Xandred had a purpose in Shinkenger.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't be there because he was too powerful.
He was too powerful, and the water that sustained him could not sustain him.
He would dry up immediately.
He would dry up too fast.
So there was he could not come on here, and they gave us a legitimate reason.
Mm-hmm.
And Samurai is just this guy just has Rita Repulsa's headache.
He's got Rita Repulsa syndrome.
And I'm just that's not enough to sustain you as a character. Please get off of my screen.
No, getting back to what we said about the Rangers, don't make them archetypes. Don't just make a quirk and say, here, that's your character. That's not how that works. This guy is just, I have such a headache. I can't go fight the Rangers today. That just makes it sound like he's lazy and doesn't want to work.
And that's not good.
No.
That's something that should not be done. But they did it throughout this entire show when you're just sitting here looking at this look.
It worked for Rita Repulsa because that was an extremely silly show and she was surrounded by idiots.
Yeah.
Who are constantly causing stress.
That was the main reason why she got the headache.
Yes.
She was just I'm tired of this.
Yes.
I want to go home. Oh, wait, I am home, but you idiots are all here too.
And you won't leave.
So, I have such a headache. Also, the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And this guy's just I want to stay in bed and watch Netflix.
Which I get sometimes. But at the same time, they can't be you the entire time. That's problematic and not good writing. The show has terrible writing.
It does.
It has terrible Google Translated writing. Which they legitimately did for Samurai. There's so much that could be fixed with Samurai. And whenever we end up getting to Mega Forest and Super Mega Forest and Ghost, that's going to be a main thing on how to fix.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know how you would fix Power Rangers Samurai. We got off track a couple times during this. We talked about Captain Planet.
That's how you know you're getting off track.
But it was such a good conversation. It happens sometimes. But yeah, let us know what you think about Power Rangers Samurai. Well, not so much what you think, but how would you fix this show? What would you take out? What would you keep? What would you put in? Let us know in the comments below.
Please do.
And don't forget to join us on Discord, Patreon, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.